Welcome back, folks, for another episode of The Corner. It's been a while, so this will perhaps be a long episode, but we can assure you that this will be a unique and interesting episode about Better Call Saul. And welcome back to you, Alexander. It's been a while.
Yeah, it sure has. I think we're talking like three or 4 weeks now since we did the last episode, and that was also a Better Call Saul episode, I think. And we ended on the tragedy that happened to Howard. Oh my God, I'm still having nightmares. That was the climax, probably the climax of season 6. We all remember it vividly and horridly. So damn, I mean, like what a shocker to end, or like a mid-season finale. You could probably call it that.
What episode was that? Was that Plan? No, that was Point and Shoot.
Yeah. It was Point and Shoot, and the next one was then Fun and Games.
Did we ever talk about Fun and Games?
No, we haven't talked about any of the preceding. No, actually, no. The one where he died was. But yeah, and this is a spoilers episode, of course. If you do not wish spoilers, do not listen to this anymore. Just so we get that out of the way.
It's not a spoiler. It's not a spoiler when it has been aired.
No, like many would disagree. Like I just heard a podcast with Joe Rogan and Bill Burr where they talk about The Wire or something that aired in the 90s, and there was some dudes on the forum that were upset that Bill Burr was spoiling shit for them because.
Well, with The Wire, I would agree with them because, you have had 20 goddamn years of watching the show.
No, like it was Bill Burr that had watched the show, and he was talking about it in one of his shows, in one of his comedy specials, and then apparently he was slipping some spoilers, and then they got mad, and then he was like, "Dudes, it's a 30-year-old show." But yeah, with Better Call Saul, I would say, we still need to be careful because they're not everybody.
That's all. Like spoiler warning, spoiler warning from the mid-season finale, because now we're going to talk about everything that has happened since the mid-season finale.
But as long as I remember saying that this is a spoilers episode at the beginning, then it's all fine because then it's all for fans. Then we know that it's just for fans. So
okay, so yeah, man, like Fun and Games, episode 9. I thought it was a really good episode because it was just like showing that like Mike was like tying up the loose ends, and of course Gustavo being summoned to a cartel meeting with Daniel Laudio, facing the accusations by Hector now, right? And you can like kind of like tell that the Laudio suspect that it might be Gustavo that has been behind the hit of Laudo's mansion or compound, and I felt like that because like he said that, you know what I saw when I looked into your eyes, Gustavo? Hate. A little bit is okay. Right. And to me that just like showed that okay, he actually fucking suspects that it could be him, but he's not going to do anything about it because he's a good earner and he keeps that money flowing, right? And he keeps the pipeline going into the United States.
Yeah, plus he's starting to lose trust in Hector, to be honest. Like he's starting to think and to suspect that, well, maybe it's not the same old Hector anymore, and the same old crazy. Well, he might still be the same old crazy bastard, but maybe he's not that much of a threat to me anymore because maybe he's gone crazy. He's gone delusional, and I think in that scene, it was in Point and Shoot. I think no, it wasn't Fun and Games. I think Don Eladio is slowly starting to realize that, and that's why he doesn't really do anything about it.
Also, the Salamanca cartel is actually a very small cartel.
Yeah.
It's one of the smaller ones in Mexico. You can also tell by that they're not holding the border territories, right? So he is like kind of like dependent on whatever cash flow he can acquire and dope he can pump into the United States in order to maintain what little power he holds in Mexico.
Yeah.
Because if he were to like get rid of Gustavo at this point, he would be like, oh shit, then I need somebody to replace him and to be as good as he was with like smuggling stuff into the United States without being caught by the DEA and whatnot. And it has to be like a smooth transition because he would be, you know, like being in the hole from day one, right? And that's a lot of like ifs and buts, right? And you know what, like Raymond Reddington says, if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, then oh, what a Christmas we would have, right?
Yeah.
So this isn't happening. So he continues to keep Gustavo on a payroll, and then he lets Hector have like a little bit of sense of dignity by saying that, and you will report to Hector.
Yeah, or that,
working under Hector,
the Salamanca territory stays Salamanca territory. Which now is getting interesting, and I was actually hoping for this in one of the last episodes here, that we would see the return of Tuco coming back from prison, because, well, guess what? He is in Breaking Bad, so we must see him returning to the stage, but that hasn't happened. Spoilers alert. That hasn't happened until all the way up to episode 12 now that we're on. Yeah. So we only have the final for a return of Raymond Cruz, the guy who plays Tuco.
I wanna like just put out like before I forget it, this connection between Fun and Games to Walter Works, because in Fun and Games, Kim and Jimmy is like lying Howard's widow, I forget her name, lying through their teeth, right? Saying that like Kim lying, saying that he saw Howard bending over a desk and snorting something that looked like white powder, right? But in episode 12, then we see her actually going back to Albuquerque from Florida and confessing that it was a lie, and that they did in fact do all this shit to Howard and to demean his reputation.
Yeah, that's true. Well, like just to get back to Tuco again, like I really. I know that the Jimmy McGill plot line, if you will, I'm just gonna say it. I know that we see Saul already early on in season, actually already in season 5. We already see elements of Saul appearing, and in season 6 we actually already have the completed Saul, but I'm just gonna call it the Jimmy plot line because it is the plot line that happens in Better Call Saul that comes to an end with episode 9, and everything that happens in episode 10, 11, 12, and I'm assuming 13 is going to be either during Breaking Bad or post Breaking Bad. Gene. So either Saul, I'm not going to say Saul Goodman, I'm just going to say during Breaking Bad and Gene post Breaking Bad. And so when a return of Tuco, that would have to be still during the Breaking Bad timeline, or at least leading up to it, like we have seen with Kim visiting Saul, them getting a divorce. That is also after the Better Call Saul timeline, but still before the Breaking Bad timeline. So it's kind of like in between there. And I like actually that they're doing that with these last four episodes, that they're like jumping. I don't know if you noticed that, but they're like cross-cutting a lot. They're like going Gene, then they're going back to Breaking Bad, then they're going... and how great was the Breaking Bad episode, by the way? That is fucking epic. that they called it Breaking Bad too. When we have an episode in Breaking Bad that's called Better Call Saul, that crossover is just epic. But that's the most epic crossover episode. But we still have it spilling over in the other episodes, where we have like Kim visiting Saul, getting the marriage dissolution. That is in Waterworks in episode 12. So we have a lot of flying around in time. But that's okay, because, in my opinion, that I would rather have this, because we have a lot of fucking plot lines that need to be wrapped up. And how else are you going to do it? Like, you couldn't do that with a continuous with a continuity, right?
Yeah.
Imagine this if they just kept the Jimmy's like the Better Call Saul plot line, just ran it through until episode 12, and then we had one Gene plot line. Would that really wrap everything up? I don't think so. We wouldn't get as much detail with Gene. So
can we get to episode 10?
Yeah.
Called Nippy. I felt like here he is on his way to becoming more of like Slippin' Jimmy.
Great title, by the way. I love the what is it called? The asymmetry. Like this show is all about asymmetry. We're going back to the main title intro sequence, which is breaking apart now. By the way,
yeah,
and that is reflected in the title too. We have all the titles have "and" in them. And now we have Nippy at episode 10, and like that could bug a lot of people, right? That we should have 10 episodes that are called "and," but we don't. We only have 9, and then we have 4 episodes that are called something else.
I think like in the intro of the last episode, we won't see anything. We'll just see like a stop button and the blue screen, and it's saying Better Call Saul.
Yeah, I mean, I love this kind of discontinuity in the titles, because it shows, it reflects reality and how the real world is. The real world is not symmetry and harmonious stuff. It is chaos, chaotic.
Yeah.
So that's fucking epic.
But yeah, so in episode 10, we see Gene having this scheme running to get Don Harvey, or not Don Harvey anymore, but the dude that he's supposed to play, Jeff, get him off his back by helping him getting into the game. The game of crime.
What episode? In episode 10, right? In Nippy.
Yeah,
Nippy.
10,
okay.
yeah. And then then planning this so they can like rob this mall for thousands of dollars of shoes, Air Jordan, Armani, whatever, right? Like a fun episode. But I didn't understand why Jeff had the trip.
Why he had the trip? The what? What do you mean?
Yeah, because like when he's running around, because like we see like them planning this shit, right? And then Buddy offers to do it while they're going, like the running around in the mall to get stuff, right? And while Jeff is running around in the mall, he falls and knocks himself unconscious for several minutes.
Oh, right.
While he's keeping the security guards busy.
Yeah, like. Wasn't that just an accident?
Yeah, it was an accident. But I
don't think he did that on purpose.
I know. But it was like, why couldn't it just run smoothly?
Yeah, but because that's how the real world is, and that's the beauty of the show. It's like stuff like this just happens, and then like. And it almost, but that's also the thing. Like the general theme of these black and white Gene episodes is that his world, that Saul's world or Gene's world is now crumbling. The card house is coming down all around him, and this scene where Jeff is falling is a symbolization and a representation of that. He's trying to fucking fight against this card house falling down. He's fighting against his cons not working anymore. He's fighting like hell to keep his Slippin' Jimmy instincts, which essentially is what made Saul in the first place. He's fighting to keep them alive, but the world, like the universe, is just working against him in this scene, and that's what happens in real life. I mean, how often have we had bad days in our own lives where, like, suddenly you have a great day and then all of a sudden, I step in fucking gum and now the whole day is ruined. You know, it's less dramatic than with this scene, of course, but the point still stands. Like, you can have the perfect day and then all of a sudden something happens. It's just like, fuck. Yeah. Now everything is crap. And that's just real life. And we just have to deal with that, and he is dealing with that, and that's why, like, as we can see when he's sitting with the security guard, he is fighting like hell to distract it, and there's actually something admirable about that he's actually fighting to keep his Saul persona alive. I don't know if that makes sense, but he's struggling. He's fighting against nature, so to speak.
So anyway, the robbery is a success, and then he uses it against Jeff and Buddy later on to say that, like, if they ever try to fuck him, not in those words, but then he'll turn them in and they will all go to prison. So trying to blackmail them not to turn him into the police.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I initially didn't actually get, because they're like just like with Kim, who was writing the written confession to Howard's wife. There's not actually any physical evidence either there or in the case of Jeff. I mean, they have the stolen goods, but they can keep that hidden. There's not there.
Yeah, it wasn't the stolen goods. It was the evidence. The evidence was that he had put his own name in when renting the truck in the neighboring state. That they used to go in and, you know, like, offload that crate with Jeff in it.
And they used Jeff's name to do that. Yeah, right. And then like Jimmy or Gene is using that as leverage to pressure. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Sense. Yeah, there's generally not a lot that doesn't make sense in these last few episodes. I very much enjoyed them. I gotta be honest, because like a lot of it just makes sense, and the stuff that doesn't make sense is really limited, I think. I don't know if you see it the same way, but I think it's beautifully written, and I love
it is. I was very skeptic to the next episode, Breaking Bad, because after this phone call, which at this point we don't hear what they're saying, but something that is like making him frustrated and Breaking Bad again, and doing all this like scamming shit, right? I felt like initially, how fucking lucky do you gotta be to hit like these big fat targets, fat whales? Because a lot of things would have to be right? They can't have a family, they can't have kids living at home, they can't have people coming visiting them or friends coming in like at odd hours.
Yeah, but that's just the same kind of luck that he had with Marco, Marco in the beginning as well. That's just the Slippin' Jimmy luck.
But he explains it later when he gets upset with Buddy for not going in and like taking the photos of that cancer dude, the cancer banker. That because like then when he's on his rant on Buddy there and he fires Buddy, he's talking about like how much work he's putting into finding these targets, making sure that they don't have a family, making sure they don't have a social life.
Yeah, and that's the Slippin' Jimmy character that comes out one last time again.
Yeah.
What
I was
what I was concerned about was why he's doing it all of a sudden, and but you were already saying that off the podcast here earlier today that that's because he's talking to Kim, and he's trying to reinitiate something, probably because after everything that has come down, he's starting to realize that the card house is falling, and now he wants to reinitiate contact, and she rejects him, and then he starts acting out like a teenager, as you said early.
Yeah, because he's looking for confirmation, right? And and he has just like you said that like he has just talked to Francesca, and she doesn't give a flying fuck about him.
No.
She just wants the money and it's like just like not caring. It's just not even 1 inch of sentiment towards him.
No.
Right. It's just like, where's the money? Tell me where the money is first before I say anything else on the phone. Also, finally, we got to know what November, 3 p.m., November 11, 3 p.m. meant.
Yeah, exactly.
With her, but yeah, man. So it was. I was also glad to see that Francesca had become her own boss, acquired some property and renting that out.
Yeah. Fuck man.
Which indicates that she had the plan B all along in case he would get caught, right? Or everything would fall apart.
And that kind of makes sense because through the whole Breaking Bad universe, and even in some scene in I think it was season 3 or 4 where we see the shredding going on, she is fucking distrustful towards Jimmy, and like she is directly dismissive and arrogant towards him, being like, what the fuck are you doing here? Because she knows she's got to be careful, and that for good reason, because now we see that she's actually being followed too.
She can't implicate herself in his crimes, and at that point she knows that he ain't fucking legit for anything in the world. So she needs plausible deniability that she never bothered to check in on the things that he was doing, that she was only acting as a well-paid secretary.
Yeah, this is a very good point to actually start talking a little bit about that phone call with Francesca, and I'm actually just going to find it here. I'm finding so that we can get into the details, into the weeds because man, while I was watching that, I was like, please pause. But I was watching it with one of my friends, so I couldn't do that. But it was like, this is going too fast. There's too much information here to like take in as a fan, because it's like, he's starting with asking about like whether the rats have eaten the money that he has deposited there for her, because of course he has to pay her in order for her to even lift a finger doing this for him, going to this call. And then she says her mail gets opened. Like, she's being followed like by the DEA probably, which is actually insane. That the DEA is even after her just to catch Saul.
There's a flaw in the timeline here that I actually just caught, because when we see Jeff introduced, right? Or is it Jeff? It's either Jeff or it is Gene's own car. Then he has the 150-year anniversary of Omaha sticker in his car.
Oh yeah.
Right, but if that was the case, and that was the year that it is in Better Call Saul, then that would mean that it is 2015. But it's not 2015 because he says that it's been 4 years, and according to the Breaking Bad fandom wiki, then we are in December 5th and 6th, 2010.
Nah, but wait a second. Breaking Bad ended in 2013.
No, did it? No, it ended in 2007.
No, that's when it started. Breaking Bad isn't that old. Yeah, it went from 2008 until 2013. I know my shows, man. Yeah, September 29th, 2013. And so post Breaking Bad, the gene sequences, that will be around 14, 15. So yeah, definitely we are. That's not a flaw. That is spot on. You gotta. I'll put it this way: you gotta wake up pretty early to sneak one by to Gilligan and Gould.
Wow,
man, I love them, man. But there's a reason why this is the top-rated show on IMDb, only preceded by it's not Our Planet. It's some other documentary show. Either way, that's just because it doesn't have as many ratings as Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is the highest rated show on IMDb, based on how many ratings it has. So I just want to put that in there.
Yeah. Okay, so that means man, but that's gonna mean that
or actually, you could put it this way: Breaking Bad is the highest rated fiction TV show in the world on IMDb.
Okay, man, but that means that he has to get away from this accusation then from Marion about being Gene, because if that's the case, then he's still there working at the Cinnabon 5 years later.
Yeah, it takes a long time to catch. Now, actually, I was wondering about that during all of these gene sequences, these gene scenes. Fuck, man, it is much harder for the DEA and the feds in general to catch Gene/Jimmy/Saul than catching Walter White.
Yeah.
I mean, damn. Walter made it easy for them, but Saul is like, no, that's another game, man. He's much smarter than Walter ever was.
Yeah. Okay, man. So that just shows that when he loses it and breaks bad, he has actually only been Gene for 1 year.
Yeah.
Right.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
But that said, though, even as smart as Gene is, as smart as Saul is, he will get caught. At least that's my prediction for the last episode. I hope he will end up in prison. I think that is his proper punishment. But I also hope they do it like in a artistically beautiful way, that they like, I don't know, maybe they put him in AdSec or something where he's like far away from the criminals he's put away or something, and then they just zoom away from that cell and then they show that he's just rotting in his cell or something. Like, I don't know, I think that could be like a fitting punishment for all his crimes. It wouldn't, I don't know. It wouldn't be like, of course we sympathize with Jimmy too. So like, we also gotta have something happen to him that kind of like satisfies our sympathy for Jimmy. But I don't know what that should be. as well as being locked up, because he deserves to be he definitely deserves to be disbarred. As you also pointed out, you said that he's probably going to represent himself not as a lawyer but just as a citizen, right?
Yeah, I think like that's probably going to happen now, and then he'll beat these charges and accusations of Marion.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Acting like Marion, then he'll go back to whatever.
Yeah.
Because there's like a couple of things there. First, we have like the Omaha, Nebraska sticker from 2015, which would be 5 years later than this.
Yeah. Well, I can just run a little along with this phone call, because there's a lot of information in there that we can like comment on while you're figuring that out with the sticker. Because we have he is talking about the maestro buying the farm and whether that changes something. And then Rebecca and then Francesca is replying that it made it worse. And what was it he was referring to there? Did Walter buy the farm? I didn't really catch that when in the scene.
What did she say?
It's just like Jimmy that says to Francesca that the maestro buying the farm, it didn't change anything? And then she replies, no, if anything, it made it worse. What the fuck does she mean there?
Let me see.
Buying the farm. What? Like, am I?
Yeah, no, okay, because like he has referred to Walt being the maestro.
That's what I mean. Like, Walter is the maestro, but did he buy a farm?
Oh no! It means well, it's slang. It means that he died. So he means like, so the maestro buying the farm,
right?
Know,
okay.
Kind of like
wow.
The maestro biting
Holy
the bullet,
shit,
right? Didn't change anything.
That's deep. Like that's deep. That's a deep sociolect that I didn't really understand there. Wow. Yeah. Okay, buying the farm. That's like sending him to Belize.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the word that she's
it
using.
Didn't change anything. Yeah, okay, but it makes sense to what she says next. It made it worse, and then she says it goes directly to Skylar White. Got her deal, right? And then she keeps talking about Pinkman. Like so many people, there's Huel, there's QB, there's all these characters that are being mentioned in this phone call, and I was like, slow down, man. There's so much shit going on here. Damn. Because like when I watch these episodes, like because like I'm literally I haven't watched Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul the way I'm watching it right now. I'm watching an episode each week and like have to wait for the next one. So automatically it's just like you analyze every scene much closer than it possibly deserves. Yeah. And so like I don't know. I just
because we got three things saying that like this is like from 2015 and after we have the Omaha sticker in the beginning of the show when we first started seeing like these Gene flashbacks very shortly.
Adios, right? Dopehead.
Adios, stupid. And then we had the Delmore whiskey bottles that he also drinks in the beginning of this like fucking of the season where so we're going a little bit back in time with these flash forwards then, which is also like a whiskey bottle that's only available from 2015. And then we have him walking in a diner, also like in one of these early fucking shows, and then they're playing a song that was only available from 2017.
Yeah.
So from all things considered, he is going to be Gene for a long time.
Yeah, like you mean post Breaking Bad timeline.
Yeah, post Breaking Bad, that he will, because we're in 2010, so this suggests that he's still Gene Tarkovich 5 years from now and 7 years from now.
Right. Yeah, proving my point that it is much harder to catch a Saul Goodman than it is to catch a Walter White, because at the end of the day, all Walter was a greedy motherfucker who took, what was it I calculated at some point, who took like 60% of the revenues of Madrigal's operation, like a ridiculous amount. While people like Lydia and Saul were doing the brunt of the fucking operation because they were the professionals. Because I calculated once that his 80 million that he's talking about at the end of Breaking Bad was a lot of the total, like, what was it? When I think it was when Jesse estimates that Gus makes 96 million. What was it, a year? Yeah, I think it was a year. And so, if you calculate that the amount of years that Walter works, it's maybe like 2 years that he works for Gus and accumulates $80 million. And then Gus makes 96 million a year. That's not a lot of money that Gus, or that Lydia's operation after Gus is dead, makes, apart from the money that Walt makes. So Walter is one greedy motherfucker being like, nah, I take 60%.
Fucking hell.
Without doing more than the cooking. But I don't know how the fuck he got that done. But must be a masculine or a feminine thing. No, shut me up, man. I'm getting what do you call it? Misogynistic here.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. No, I don't know what it is, but anyway. So in that phone call with Francesca, I would like to return to that because he's talking. Saul is talking about nail salons with an S at the end. In plural, meaning that he has expanded. He has, like, you gotta fucking imagine that, man. His money laundering business has taken on the heights of him just buying up fucking nail salons everywhere to launder money. Like, fuck, man. I was like, that was just fucking another instance of, like, just with the house that we got so beautifully in episode 1, where we got this house where we see his fucking greed on screen reflected with all his fucking Greek bullshit paintings and golden toilets and shit, and now we get to know. Apparently, Saul Goodman and Associates owned multiple nail salons to launder the money. Fucking insane. Damn. Nail salons are gone, seized by the DEA now, obviously. And then he's like, what, gone? All of them? And yep. And then he's talking about vending machines. What is that all about?
I don't know. Like, he probably had like vending machines, like it's a way to launder money.
Right.
Because it's a cash business.
But that must have been a fuckload considering the amount of money he made. Like, imagine he must have had vending machines with each of those nail salons, and at the laser tag, because he was laundering money through laser tag, obviously too. Which he's getting fucking really concerned about. Shells within shells. Yeah. I mean, this is just what I mean, man. Like, we learn a lot of information about his money laundering business through this short conversation with Francesca.
We also got to learn right from the scene with Mike how he got the diamonds.
Oh, yeah.
Because this dude had like been busted up in Canada.
Oh, yeah.
Just by coincidence, and he hadn't. And Mike was like vouching for him because he was solid and did a dime in prison, meaning he did 10 years in prison and never flipped on anyone.
Oh, wow.
So he's saying that this guy's solid. And he's like the guy that we need for whatever job, right? So he has like probably been hired by Saul, and him and Mike has like been cooking up some shit for him to steal, and he has gotten his cut in diamonds.
Yeah, fuck, man. And he also mentions that to Francesca right after I don't know if is it her that mentions that. I think it is. That says to him, the Tigerfish Corporation, a corporation that we have never heard of before, but now we realize, oh, that's $850,000 that the DEA has just seized from his money laundering activities with the Tigerfish Corporation. Wow! Yeah. Holy shit, man! Another money laundering institution that belonged to Saul Goodman and Associates.
It's insane.
Jesus Christ! And that's like almost $1 million. So now I'm starting to realize, just from this conversation again, I'm starting to realize the magnitude of why they put a $5 million warrant on his head.
Yeah.
Because this shit didn't just go on in Albuquerque. No. This shit went nationwide.
Yeah, and it was all from drug money.
Yeah.
Or mainly drug money. So yeah, man, that explains the bounty.
Yeah, like if the DEA has seized $850,000 in money laundered money from drug money. Yep, I would put a $5 million bounty on the head guy too.
But but that was like only one thing, right? And it was
nail
salons, and then it was the laser tag, and then it was like the vending machines, right?
Oh fuck, man! Right, he's saying that the Tiger Corporation is a fictional corporation.
Yeah. But that's just because it's a place where he has like flown his cash, kind of like that. Mike flew some of his cash to the Cayman Islands.
But $850,000, bro. That's a lot of money for a fucking fictional corporation. I mean, we have these what do you call them here in Denmark? They have a name for it. Holding companies. Holding companies. They have them in Denmark too, but I don't think there's a lot of companies in Denmark that have $850,000 in them.
No, but like what I didn't really understand is like why there was like even names attached to it, because in the Caribbean, right? If you do shit right, then you can have, instead of having names tied to the company, you can just have like a company tied to it, and another company tied to it, and another company tied to it, right?
Yeah.
In that way, but maybe he had to have a name tied to it, so that's why he put Francesca down.
Yeah. Yeah, and she's pissed about it too. She's saying like a heads up would have been nice.
Yeah.
Fuck, man, you would have. That's a fucking asshole move too, if there ever is one. Like, what am I gonna do? Yeah, whatever. Just gonna use my secretary's name for an $850 million company.
Yeah, $850,000.
Holy shit, fuck. Man. Damn. Yeah, holy shit. Okay, I don't think there's that much. I mean, there's a lot more with QB And then there's coastal sprinklers. That's just where Kim works.
I won't lie. It has like taken a piece of my soul watching this show after they killed off Nacho.
Yeah.
Because after Nacho died, I've just been like, yeah, fuck you, Mike. Yeah, fuck you guys, right? But yeah, enough about that.
Yeah, because Nacho was generally, I mean, he was a bad guy, but he was the least of all evils, if you ask me. He was trying to get out, but never got out.
He didn't deserve that.
No. He was just like he was a perfect example. He was basically like a Jesse, actually. I think that's fair to say, because like he's a product of his circumstances. If his circumstances were forcing him into situations where he had to act tough and where he had to break, one of these episodes where he had to slice off that one thug's ear in order to make him deal. That was just because fucking, I don't know if it was Tuco or Hector or whatever that was above him, but like he had to do that in order to rise in the ranks. So he's always Nacho was always forced to do shit.
Like somebody's just like taking like a spin of Nacho's confession on Reddit and saying it's Alvarez Los Adios out of Peru. He has been stretching the season 6 timeline over years. Years.
Oh wow. Yeah.
That's so fucking good. That's a good one.
Oh man.
But yeah, man. We're like talking about like Palm Coast sprinklers.
Where Kim is working.
A bit before this though, after the conversation with Francesca and where Kim's working, it makes absolutely sense why he would act out like frustrated like that, right? Because he's feeling that like everything that he built is collapsing.
Yeah.
So he wants to earn some money. He wants to earn some cash fast, and he has mapped out the underground world of Omaha, because he has either through Jeff or more likely Buddy, gotten a hold of somebody that buys stolen identities.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're doing, right? They're breaking into people's houses without them knowing it, or not breaking. They're just entering the houses actually, and finding their wallets and taking pictures of their identities, passports, and bank cards.
At the last house, Gene is crossing the line into breaking as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like I like, fuck man, that scene just frustrated me because like I just kept thinking like if Mike was there, he would be like, "Don't do it, kid." Like, let it go, and we'll find another mark, and we can just do.
But that's where we see the similarities between Jimmy and Walt, because both of them are fucking greedy, narcissistic, and arrogant assholes that want to protect their own persona, their own pride at all costs. And right. With Jimmy, or with Saul, or Gene, or whatever, you can maybe argue that maybe it was partly Chuck who made him this way. But of course, we don't know if something similar happened to Walt, because we don't know that much about Walt's past. Something like that could have happened to Walt too. We just don't know. We know that Walt's dad died. When he was a kid.
Yeah. Let's go back to this scene. I mean, like, he has the fucking identity. He has the photographs taken. He has probably like taken a copy of the checkbook too, or a copy of the check. And then he could just fucking leave. But fuck that. I'm going to go up and check out what else fucking valuables this dude have, and then I find the watches, and I'm going to take these Rolexes or whatever he had, and I'm going to also pour myself a drink while I'm up here looking around for more stuff to steal.
Yeah. I love that because that really shows off his delusion. Yeah, I actually gotta stop saying that term, delusions of grandeur, because there's some other term that's more fitting, but I won't go into that now. Yeah, I'm an...
yeah, man, like, so I thought, at this moment I was just thinking, like, holy shit. And then he's picking up the fucking waste, or no, not the waste, the urn of the guy's dead dog's ashes. And I thought, like, holy fuck, is he going to smash this poor dude's back skull in to walk out of the house?
Yeah.
Holy shit. So it's been like 2 times where we've seen him almost crossing this line into violence. The other one was where he was stretching the phone line like he was going to choke Marion to death.
Yeah. Fuck, man.
But I knew that he wouldn't do that, because I thought, like, well, if he chokes Marion to death, then he loses all sympathy from the viewers.
Yeah, definitely. Then he is turned into a monster, and he's he's not a monster. I mean, no. Like, just like Walt, until the very end, of course, will not knife his wife. I mean, he loves her, and it is Skylar who pulls the knife on him, but not to kill him, but just to make him leave. What that man, fuck, man, Ozymandias. The ending of Ozymandias in Breaking Bad is still one of my favorite scenes in all of TV, in all TV to this date, because every time I watch it, and I've probably watched it like 5 times so far, every time I watch it, I get goosebumps. It makes me shake, because, and you're fucking dad, you're family, man. Like, fucking just imagine if you stood in your kitchen and your life partner is pulling a knife on you and is trying to remove your kid from you. And you have to say goodbye to them. You don't want it to end, but you're being dragged away from them because because you have some sort of pride. That like, the sadness of that scene is just fucking incredible. It's just fucking nuts, man.
Right. But the thing is that Walt was like telling himself a lie all the time. But he was saying that he was doing it from his family. Yeah. And Skylar calls him out on that. The fuck, you did it for the family, you did it for yourself.
And he does. And I hope that Jimmy gets that kind of reflecting too, which Walt gets when he goes to the Granite State and then comes back, because in that cabin he really gets time to think. And then comes up with that line, that superior line in Felina, where he says, "I did it for me," and that's like finally he has come to terms with that truth. And I kind of like that. Really, apart from like fuck my prediction with Jimmy ending up in jail, and fuck my prediction with him getting killed. All I want for Jimmy, or Saul or Gene or whatever, is to just say some line that is similar to Walter and being like, Kim was right. Maybe we were too bad or something. Like, I want that. I want to see that. That he's getting redemption of some sort.
Oh man, I hope so, but I have a hard time seeing it, because he really is still high on himself, like a year after this shit, because he's not really, but he's calling Kim for some kind of like confirmation, so that he could, because he wants to boast about, like, hey, I'm still out here and alive, getting away with it, Kim. Look at me. because I'm so fucking cool.
Yeah, and that is true. And if we compare it to the Walter timeline, then at this point, at the end of episode 12, where he flees from Marion's place because she has detected who he really is, she's calling the police to arrest Saul Goodman. That is only one episode to go, and that's the same as when Walt is leaving for Granite State, actually, in my opinion. So that's Ozymandias. So then in Breaking Bad at this point, there would be 2 episodes left, at Granite State and Felina. And in Better Call Saul, we only have 1 more episode to wrap all this up now. So it's...
Did he actually ever tell her his name?
Not his real name. Definitely not Jimmy.
No, I don't think that he did. I don't think that he called himself Gene either to her.
No, he did. They're sitting at the table and she's calling him Gene.
Yeah, okay, but maybe he didn't give the last name.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either.
Because I have a hard time seeing that Jeff is going to give him up. Because if he gives him up, then he knows that like he can give all that other shit and keep Jeff in jail or 2, right?
Yeah, but Marion doesn't know that.
No. Marion doesn't know that, but she doesn't know his name either. I have a hard time seeing that he has said that his name is Gene Talkowicz too.
Yeah, but still, the police coming out to her house is close enough to be detected. I mean, we're talking about the FBI here coming to her house and starting investigations.
Despite us only seeing like these fucking suburban areas and Gene or Jimmy in the middle of nothing, Omaha is not a small place. Omaha City. It's like 500,000 people, or at least 300,000 people living in that city.
Yeah.
So it would be like you could imagine you pulling off some of the same shit in Copenhagen, only giving like a first name and then they only have that in the description.
It's about the same size as Albuquerque, actually, population-wise.
But still, it would be difficult to find you unless you were a public figure, because like he isn't a public figure. He is the fucking manager for Cinnabon, right?
Yeah.
He is as fucking invisible as one can be.
Yeah.
So I don't even think that they would even find his house.
No. And like as he points out in Breaking Bad, best case scenario, managing a Cinnabon in Omaha. So yeah, he does get the best case scenario for him. But now it feels like he's getting greedy again and wanting more for some reason.
Now we're going to see him settle down. He's going to have to, if he wants to fucking stay Gene for another 6 years.
Yeah, but we have to wrap it up somehow, and I will be very unhappy if it ends with him just getting away, just getting some house somewhere in Omaha country, just settling down like. And now I'm gonna keep rewatching my reruns of, or I'm gonna keep watching my commercials. The end. That would be the worst fucking end for me, and I don't know. Like I would.
I mean, the way that I see it, right, is that until now I don't think that he has been making rusty nails. You know.
You mean the drink?
Yeah, until now I don't think that he has been drinking rusty nails. I think that he has just been drinking whiskey.
Right.
Because I don't think that we see the Drambuie bottle either on the counter when he pours himself the whiskey.
Yeah.
Meaning that he's still holding on to this thing, being Saul Goodman or Slippin' Jimmy, right?
Yeah.
But getting away with this is going to set like a fucking pin in him and being like, fuck, that was close.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that was like real fucking close. They could have gotten caught there, right? Wrapping up the loose ends with Jeff, getting him out of prison, doing some deals with him, never seeing Marion again, of course, right? And if she is, then he will just like fucking battle her in court or something, and then make them believe that she's just a delusional old woman.
Yeah.
And maybe Jeff, and then maybe Jeff as a character witness coming there and saying like yeah, my mom ain't the same as she used to be.
Yeah, because he's still afraid of him.
So then he gets away with it. He's still going to be Gene, but he will still have that like fuck, that came close, right? And then he will slowly sink into this depression state that we see him in the beginning of the show, where he is in this depressed state, making rusty nails, which is the preferred drink for depressed old men, consisting of ice, whiskey, and drambuie.
Yeah, but in a way that, like, I don't know, that would be the worst ending for me, because that's a punishment for him to be in a depressed state, because he gotta be punished in some way. Walter was punished with death, but because that was inevitable, because he had cancer anyway.
Which is why I'm saying that in the very end of it all, he is going to come back to Albuquerque, do some soul searching, seeing the sights, and then fucking turn himself in. Yeah,
that I would like to see that, because like him just sitting in a fucking house, making himself rusty nails, being depressed, like that doesn't do anything for our sympathy for him, because, well, like he hasn't gotten any redemption. He hasn't been punished thoroughly enough, and he's not living a good life. So we don't feel that he has accomplished anything at the end, and he also doesn't. He doesn't meet his punishment. So there's not really an ending to that, in my opinion. I don't know if you understand that.
Unless he turns himself in.
Yeah, like that. To me, that seems to be the only viable options for an ending, because either he has to atone for his sins, or for his for his misdoings, like that kind of has an ending quality to it, or he has to like redeem himself, some sort of. Or he has to simply die. I mean, that's also an end to a human life in general. That there has to happen something a bit more than just keeping going, keeping on. Because like, what is he gonna do if he's like is just sitting and just sipping rusty nails, being depressed? I mean, that's not gonna take long. Soon he's gonna want to do some cons again, but we're never going to see it, because we already ended the fucking show. So it's just an unfinished ending, in my opinion. To just sit and sip rusty nails. I don't know if you agree with that.
Man, I just I agree with that. I just read that you can't turn yourself in America and claim the reward money. The only way you could like fucking do that is if you turn yourself in and you manage to acquit yourself.
Oh yeah, acquit. What does acquit mean?
It means that you get off all charges scot-free.
Yeah.
Prove your innocence.
Well, that's not gonna happen.
Right.
That's with all the money laundering we've heard about.
Because unless he does that, then the reward money. It says then the reward money will just be immediately become proceeds of crime.
Yeah.
Since you're a criminal and you're turning yourself in.
And
right?
we've already heard that physical evidence does exist, because the DEA has seized those 850,000 from what was it? Takaho. I forgot it again.
Yeah.
The corporation, the fictional corporation that we just learned about in Breaking Bad, the Breaking Bad episode.
So, no, the only way that he could have gotten it is if he fucking somehow managed to convince Francesca to turn Saul in.
Yeah. Then she would have gotten the. But then again, I mean, she's a. Fuck, man. I mean, she's also under suspicion, and they're tapping her phones and shit.
Yeah, she's under suspicion, but she isn't. She hasn't been caught at anything.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
She's not a criminal.
Yeah, I guess. I guess that is
so
the
yeah,
way.
So they could deal on that, like she turns himself in, and then they split the money when he gets out, or whatever the fuck.
But when is he gonna get out? I mean, he's gonna get a long stretch for all that money laundering.
I don't know how long time can you be punished for money laundering?
A long time. Anything when it comes to money, financial crimes in the U.S. government, well, that's like putting oil and fire together.
Wow. Holy shit, man! Look, in the United States, anyone convicted of money laundering could be sentenced to up to 20 years
there we
incarceration and fines of up to
of
500,000
course.
or twice the value of the property that was involved in the money laundering
because whenever the U.S. government hears the word cash or money has been stolen, then the ears go wide like a hamster. And then the crime rates, and then the punishment rate, the punishment sentences go up.
It's crazy that he fucking took that risk. Because it's not actually subtle methods that he's been using to launder money.
Nah, but it's like it's better than Walt with his car wash.
Yeah,
for sure. But still.
Walter was doomed to fail even if he survived the cancer. And
I mean,
everything.
like Better Call Saul. We're dealing with a much more intelligent criminal than Walt ever was. I mean, Walt was an amateur. Although I will say that was also what made Breaking Bad the highest rated show on IMDb, because we had that ordinary guy who breaks bad, who turns into a criminal. That's what made the story so interesting in the first place. But now we just have the spin-off, of course, and that still has success because the filming techniques and the effects, the editing, the aesthetic efforts that go into making these shows is at a whole other level. I mean, this is like the fucking the best, the most professional, best TV making that we have seen in probably since the dawn of movie making, all the way back to the 1920s.
Hey, look. I just pulled up something, a news release from the District of South Dakota, where it says, New Mexico man sentenced to nearly 22 years in federal prison for fraud, money laundering, and obstruction conspiracies. Dude that apparently amassed nearly $13 million by defrauding people in South Dakota, Minnesota, Arizona, New Mexico, Florida, Colorado, Pennsylvania, North Colorado, and then spent this money on buying, wait for it, luxury residence in Oslo, Norway, renovation costs to the place, a new Mercedes-Benz, nearly $4 million in silver, travel, and personal expenses.
Wow. Oh my God. Jesus.
I feel like it's such a fucking harsh punishment for something that isn't, like a violent crime.
Yeah, but
I mean,
it's
you
like
do- you
it's
do
like
this shit-
maybe not a violent crime, but it is like money is a representation of society, and like the more money you have, the more you gotta think about it this way. Every dollar represents something in society, represents a product or represents some materialism or some service, not even just products but also service. It represents people that are behind this money. And if you have a big deal of cash, and more importantly, if you do crime with a big deal of cash, it is basically like doing crime with people. It is basically fucking people in the ass. People that could have needed, especially money that is just like lying still in a bank account, in a Swiss bank account or a Cayman bank account, that could have made someone's lives or a lot of people's lives somewhere a lot better, but instead it's just lying there in the bank account. That is metaphorically fucking people everywhere in the world.
I'm just thinking about our countries in Scandinavia. You get like a year, 2 tops for doing the same shit.
To what?
The money laundering.
Yeah, but that's because our justice system in general is not as harsh. We believe more in rehabilitation than. But I mean, like no, that no, I don't know why I said that so obnoxiously. No, like I believe in rehabilitation too, but with regards to money crimes, it just is a problem when it becomes these high sums like millions, because it is money that could be better spent on educating people, on getting people through the world. Instead it's just lying in some fucking dead bank account doing no good whatsoever.
So I just want to like fucking end this podcast.
No, we're not going to end it yet. I still have 2 more points written down here that I would like to get through, because but we have to go back to episode 9, Fun and Games, where Gus is talking to his sommelier friend, and he is having a really intimate conversation with him.
I was like thinking like, fuck, man, $300 for a glass?
Yeah, fuck, man. That's another, like, Gus is definitely high-end and has style. But I was thinking during that entire scene, I was asking my friend about this as well, I actually have no fucking idea whatsoever who the fuck this guy is. I mean, who is this guy that he's talking to? Like,
he is like you're saying sommelier, and a good sommelier is also like acting like a friend.
Yeah, but why is he being presented in so close proximity to Gus? I don't understand this scene.
Well, obviously they know each other well.
Yeah, that's true.
And secondly, it's a very, very high-end store, right? Do you remember the fucking bottle that he said?
Yeah, and plus Gus has to celebrate in some big way because he just dodged fucking Lalo Salamanca, so he has to celebrate. But what bottle?
Because he was like talking about a bottle of wine, right?
Yeah.
Something like from a 1969, I think.
Definitely some exquisite wine, I believe. But yeah, you were talking about that they're definitely Dressler and Vaughn. There it was. That was the name of the wine.
Dressler Vaughn 1969.
Too long. What are you drinking? The Dressler and Vaughn.
Yeah, but is that the one that he said that he bought?
No, that's the one he's drinking.
No, because he said that he bought a bottle too from him.
Yeah, okay.
Or
I don't know about that, but like, otherwise, I would just like. Yeah, so you said that they know each other well, but why do we see him drinking, or at least having this intimate conversation with them?
didn't you get that? He was like talking about the tastes of the wine, right? With the iron and
Yeah, but what
in the wine, and then wait
Okay.
for it, man. And then the significant part of it was that this wine actually tastes like blood.
Okay.
So meaning that he's like fucking sitting there sipping this wine, imagining that he's sipping all of the Salamanca's blood.
Damn, sangre por sangre.
Yeah.
Damn,
That's what he's like envisioning
blood
himself,
for
right?
blood. Oh my god.
So he is.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what the scene does for the overall theme. That he wants to celebrate now in a big way, but then he gets a guilty conscience at the end, and then he has to leave his friend, sommelier friend. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. 1978 Cota Rotoya wine for a special occasion. He saves it for a special occasion. We probably see him drinking it in Better Call Saul, in Breaking Bad. Then.
Yeah.
Let me see what that fucking cost.
Either way, while you Google that, then I just have one more thing on my list to discuss, which.
All right. I found it. It's a $5,000 bottle of wine.
Damn, still not as much as the whiskey that the Chuck and Howard are sipping in what was that season 3 episode 6 off brand, I believe, where they're drinking a 35-year-old Macallan. I'm not gonna tell you how much it cost, but it's coming out of my end. And then of course I googled that because I'm a big fan of the show. And figured out that it was. Man. Have you found it? You wanna?
13 grand?
Was it 13? I actually googled it to be $7,000, but have you found it for 13? Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe I found a different bottle then. I don't know.
In Denmark, it is twice that. If you buy it here, it's 142,000.
Maybe I found the wrong one then.
Wow, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I have one here for 1990. That's 32 years old, and that's 142,000 kroners, and in dollars that would be that's nearly $20,000 for a 32-year-old bottle of Macallan. So apparently these Macallans vary heavily in price range, but I think it's pretty fair to say that you can't get a bottle of Macallan that is over 30 years old for less than $5,000 in dollars. So that's pretty expensive. But of course, Howard and Chuck are legally successful, much more successful than Gus could ever hope to be.
At this point.
Yeah, and I don't know. Maybe Gus would be mad about that, but I also don't think that he's not greedy like Walt and Jimmy. Gus is the rational one who actually drives a 10-year-old Volvo, to use Hank's quote, in order to appear under the radar. So he's in control of his spending, of his finances. Okay, so the last thing I have for this podcast before we end it here is that this fat guy, or this beefy guy, in Breaking Bad. Who did that remind you of?
the big guy.
Yeah, the big guy, the first victim that he's scamming or that he's conning. Did that guy remind you of someone when he's doing that bar trick with the money?
Oh right. That, like I don't know.
But
Like
doesn't that remind you of another character from the Slipping Jimmy days?
Yeah, it reminded me of Marco. Yeah.
And I was like, that's definitely a fucking reference throwback to season 1.
Oh, I felt like holy shit, man! The tricks this dude had up his sleeve. With like, come on, man! I'll pay for the cab if you can if I can make your what was it, the matchstick box come off your hand without touching it, right? And then he just fucking sets it on fire.
Oh man. That's just epic, and then burns it off his hand. That's just, and the Marco personality. But then, of course, Gene cons him, which also shows how much he has decayed. Because if this was back in season 1, where he was still Jimmy, and where his transformation into Saul Goodman still wasn't complete by any means, and where he was still good, where he still hadn't broken bad, he would never have thought of scamming a guy like this, a guy like Marco, because he was his friend.
I felt like the opposites here, because like I felt like, okay, if anybody deserves to get taken, it's this fucking asshole. If it's anyone that don't deserve to be taken, it's the lonely cancer dude.
Yeah, who by the way is also on The Big Bang Theory, where he plays Stewart Bloom. That was interesting to see him in a crime show. But anyway, yeah, like I don't know, man. Like I just thought that like his appearance and his size and his conning, like that, a lot of traits that go back to Marco, and it also shows that that Jimmy would never in his wildest dreams have wanted to con Marco, but now Gene has deteriorated so far as now he still has the Jimmy conning attitude, but he doesn't give a shit about people anymore. Like he's that dark point in his life after all the shit that happened with Chuck, after all the shit that happened with Howard, and all the shit that happened with Kim. He's a broken man now, broken Gene.
Yeah, he's like, fuck it. Now I'm just gonna be Gene for the next 5 years.
He's broken bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, like that's as much as, do you want to end it? Because that's as much as I have to say for these last 4 episodes.
Yeah, man, that's also always almost 90 minutes. Don't forget to hit fucking stop, Troy, and then export file this time instead of just fucking
Yeah, that is also an internal reference here on the corner to the time that I forgot to press the export button in Audacity. Very important.
So, yeah, I guess that was it. Don't forget to sub, cholos. Peace out.